It always starts with a thought. Back in 2020, somewhere in the bush of Uganda, Lenyo and I started talking about getting out. The corporate race, the money, the alcohol, was it worth it? What happened to those dreams? Where are we today? And what are we really trying to do? We had already stepped out and bought our property in Colorado, 40 acres of a dream, to be off grid, away from it all, not having to answer to the man, and focusing on our lives and what's truly important. As we started this next adventure in our lives, we realized it's time to sail. We jumped a plane, checked all of our COVID-19 shots, made sure everything was in line, checked the passports, hopped in the car, checked out of Uganda, hit the skies, and took off. Our goal was right into Izmir, Turkey, where we're actually still allowed to sail. So we dropped into Izmir, got to our friend's place, and what a beautiful surprise. A 51-foot Genoa for the next 14 days. What more could we ask for? This was great. And like all sailors before us, we set a course, 1,000 nautical miles, Lenyo never sailing. What could possibly go wrong? Out to the Aegean Sea. Sounds pretty easy to me. As we picked up our lines, tossed in the fenders, headed out the channel, bright sunny skies, we got stuck. But we persevered. We made it through the day, hit the anchorage, and started. Chef Lenyo in the kitchen. Her first lunch at sea. What are we having today?
Having pasta, meat sauce pasta.
Oh, a double pasta. Pasta, meat sauce pasta. This is the 51-foot Genoa. Have been graciously given us a week to vacation on. We're on the Turkish coastline. And there's not a boat anywhere to be found. It was the spring of 2021. COVID still in effect. Nobody on the Aegean seas. We enjoyed our time, going from anchorage to anchorage, sailing during the days, and resting up during the evenings in the cockpit with some food. May 2nd, Lenyo's first. What tack are we on? Starboard tack. How many knots are we doing? 7.9 knots. What sea are we on? Close. Aegean. This is Lenyo's first time at the helm. Crushing it. Not from the main, that's me though. How's it feel?
It's nice. I'm starting to feel the ship is spinning over so much.
So I told you, you can't sail by the instruments. At the end of each day of sailing, we would find a protective cove, slip into there for the overnight anchorage, amazed by the beautiful depths of the water, a turquoise blue like we've never seen before. The coastline was amazing with these rocks that were just rising up in every location. So rugged, unbelievable. Each morning, I would sit in the cockpit just before dawn and plan our route. It's a little rough out. It only took a day or two to fall into the routine. Sailing during the day, beautiful anchorages in the evening, and having our sundowners on the deck, watching the Turkish sunset, which was just beautiful. Later in the evening, we'd make some food and then settle in for the night. Over the next few days, we head to the marina to fuel up and get ready for what was next. Over the next few days, the winds began to fill in. What we didn't know was the gusts that you get off the Turkish coastline. At some point, the winds were gusting at 30 and 35 knots, and for pretty much single-handling a 51-footer, it was pretty intense. Almost 10. Over the next few days, the wind just continued to fill in. The sea state got confused. We were catching waves from each side. Trying not to get broadsided, single-handedly just kept pushing on. We sailed the days and again settled into a nice cove for the evenings. Picturesque views everywhere we went. We took the time while we could, laid around, and just enjoying the calm before we had to beat it back up the coastline, and it was not easy.
A bit rough today.
Yes, it was rough, beating it back up the coastline, waves breaking over the bow, tossing its water all the way back to the cockpit, pitching to and fro. It was quite the adventure. After 3 days of beating it up the coastline, we finally made it back to Izmir. With a few days left, we decided to get out and see an ancient ruin just outside the province of Izmir. Dating back to the 10th century BC, the Ephesus ancient city was filled with beautiful rubble. You could see all of the columns, the Colosseums, and we spent the next few days just enjoying the sights before we went back to our daily lives.